1.6 lakh rupees spent on just OEM Honda screws and bolts. 1.7 lakh rupees spent on Real Spoon Motorsports carbon fiber wing mirrors. And the total restoration cost is 42 lakh rupees. This is probably one of the cleanest, one of the rarest Hondas that you'll ever come across. This over here is a 1997 Honda or Acura Integra Type R. And this thing is immaculate. Integra is a more sporty and premium version of the Civic in Honda's lineup. And with the third generation of Integra, which was introduced back in 1993, the Type R badge was slapped onto it. But what exactly are the differences between a normal Integra and an Integra Type R? The Type R gets lowered suspension, which is also stiffer for better handling. It also gets a limited slip differential from the factory to ensure it gets optimum grip all of the time. The car was also put on a diet to make it lighter and also stiffer in some areas to make sure that the chassis is rigid. And of course, you get a wing at the back. Along with that, the Type R also came with a bigger set of front brakes and these beautiful set of wheels. Of course, the most important and biggest change has to be the engine. Now, before we get onto the engine talk, I quickly want to tell you that you should appreciate this engine bay because look at it. It is immaculate. You can literally eat food off of it. That's how clean it is. The owner has spent 9.5 lakh rupees in importing the engine and putting it into this car. It's a brand new engine. All of the parts have been sourced from either America or Japan directly. And like I said, 1.6 lakh rupees on just OEM Honda screws. I mean, who does that in India? Talking about the engine, 1.8 liters of displacement, naturally aspirated inline 4 dual overhead cam VTEC and a red line of 9,000 RPM. This over here is one of the most desirable B series engines ever produced by Honda. This is the B18C. It's a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder like I just mentioned, and it makes 195 horsepower. Now, by today's standards, that's not a lot. But if you consider that this car was made back in the 90s, a naturally aspirated 4-banger making this sort of horsepower was absolutely insane. Now, in the start of the video, I said that this car had lowered, stiffer suspension from the factory. But this particular car is running a different suspension setup. It's actually running teen suspension all around. So I'm pretty sure it's still going to handle fantastic. And if you look on deeper into the engine bay, you have this Type R strut brace as well for added rigidity, and that comes from factory. And yeah, this looks beautiful. Hop into the interior of the Integra Type R and the special factor doesn't stop. I mean, this interior is nostalgic, retro, and just so simple in all of the right ways. Let's start with the steering. A simple 3-spoke steering, no buttons, nothing. Yeah, I think so. This is one of the nicest steering wheels I've ever seen. I mean, it's just so simple. You have a little button for your horn in the middle and doesn't have buttons or anything. And the steering itself is tiny. I mean, it feels like a go-kart steering. And yeah, I just love the way this thing feels in your hand. Look up front and you have a Mugen instrument cluster which costs 5 lakh rupees, which the owner has spent. It has this aluminium finish trim inside that has the Mugen logo. Very simple, very easy to look at. Yeah, no bullshit. And coming on to the center console, if you know your Integra Type Rs, then you must be knowing that this particular Integra Type R never came with air conditioning from the factory. If you wanted air conditioning, it was a dealer fitted option. So this particular car does have air conditioning, which means someone has fitted the air conditioning system in it. But yeah, you never got AC from the factory in this car. And the AC controls themselves, I mean, they're just so simple. Pure buttons, you know, none of that touch screen or, you know, slider kind of gimmickry. It's just so simple to use. Even the stereo is just so simple to use. You don't really have to use your brains that much to operate this stuff. Further down the middle, you have this lovely Type R shifter.
It's finished in metal and it has your gear slots highlighted in red, and it just feels so nice to hold in your hand. Further down, you have the Integra Type R badge, which gives it that even more special feeling when you sit inside the car. Yeah, this feels like you're sitting in something special when you look at it. And finally, the seats. Now, I'm not too sure if these particular seats are from factory or they have been retrofitted, but the Recaro Sport bucket seats, and they feel absolutely amazing. I think so anyone slightly even more fatter than me probably won't fit in these because they're that tight. But yeah, I'm sure when you're driving this thing hard, they do the job pretty damn well. So how about we stop blabbering and get on with the driving.
Before we go any further, I want to give a massive shout out to MOD BLR for making this shoot happen. These are the guys that have done the incredible detailing work on this Type R, and if you're wondering where the car has been painted, that credit goes to Madhu's Body Shop in Bangalore. Shout out to Twin Garage as well for sending a car from their collection for us to make a video on. Follow them on Instagram if you want to stay up to date on this Integra Type R and the other garage mates that they have.
Before I head out on the drive, just look at this key. This key itself is so cool. So let's not waste any time and give it a quick crank. Let me just adjust my seating. Yeah, the whole car is shaking, and yeah, this thing is raw. This thing is meant to be a driver's car. This thing is running an original Mugen Sports exhaust system. And yeah, I'm sure this is going to sound absolutely crazy. Unfortunately, we're right now in the heart of Bangalore. So I don't really have the opportunity to open this thing up, and I don't want to risk anything. So I'm going to go slowly, not try to do something stupid. But yeah, as soon as you get into this car, you can immediately feel the rawness of it. The clutch is rock hard. You need to use a lot of muscle to get it going. But once you get it going, this thing, you can just feel it. You can feel the urgency in the way this thing delivers its power. And since it's a naturally aspirated engine, the throttle response is electric. This 5-speed manual gearbox is also a little different. It's a close ratio 5-speed manual, so the shifts are super quick. You need to be on it all the time, and you have to be rowing through the gears all of the time. And this thing is so low to the ground. Older cars are so low to the ground, and the suspension is also super stiff. And okay, the horn is not working, but apart from the horn, I think each and everything is working. So I know in the start of the video I told you that there is a dealer fitted option to fit the AC, but at the moment that is not working. But that's not what this car is about. It's about this insane raw pure driving experience. These bucket seats just hold you into place, and yeah, this thing is absolutely nuts. It has a red line of 9,000 RPM, which unfortunately I won't be able to do over here in today's setting. And yeah, all of this power goes to the front wheels. And according to a lot of magazines, when they had tested this car back in the 90s, they had quoted it to be the best handling front wheel drive car ever to be made. So probably this is one of the most special cars I've ever put my bum in. And yeah, I can immediately feel just, how intense and how serious this thing is. And oh my god, the clutch is a proper workout. I mean, if there is a way to show you how my muscles are flexing, it's kind of a flex for myself as well. Yeah, this thing is raw. But I'm sure once you have it on the move and you're thrashing it through the corners, it must be a magical driving experience, because this car has gotten a whole lot of praise from a whole lot of different journalists over the years, and this is probably one of the greatest cars Honda has ever made. Probably top 5, top 10 greatest cars Honda has ever made. So unfortunately, we're stuck over here in Bangalore traffic. We're basically in the heart of Bangalore, and yeah, it's sad that I'm not able to open up this Integra Type R, and trust me, you don't want to drive this thing in traffic. So yeah, I don't want to bore you with this boring stuff right now. So how about we head back to the studio of Mod BLR, and I'll show you what this thing is when it comes to its design. Talking about the looks, I mean, just look at this thing. This thing looks immaculate, and they just don't make cars like this anymore. The car is so low, it looks so purposeful, and of course, being the Type R, you get the lowered suspension and everything. And yeah, I mean, the stance is absolutely beautiful. Now, the Integra is a notch back kind of design. So this over here is basically a hatch. So if you know your Octavias and stuff, even the rear glass lifts up and gives you this massive cargo area over there at the rear. Type R elements are also there all across the car. You get this massive rear wing, you get Integra Type R badging all around the car, and you also get these fantastic looking wheels. They look the works. I mean, it just goes so perfectly with the car. Some more Integra and Type R cues is that the Integra logo is stamped on both the front and the rear bumpers, which is a very unique design trait that these cars have. And overall, yeah, this car looks like a sporty, hunkered down performance car. There's no other way to describe it. This particular Integra Type R is the pre-facelift version, so it gets these split dual headlamps up front, and I think it looks really, really cool. A proper JDM, and a car like this is so hard to come across in India, that too in a condition like this. I have personally never seen such a clean JDM car. So let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on this amazing restoration. This has to be one of the favorite cars that I've covered in this particular Bangalore trip. I mean, I drove an M2, Z4 M40i, Stage 2 Verna, and a lot of other cool stuff, but this has a special place in my heart. Now, the owner has spent 42 lakh rupees in total on just the restoration, but he's basically made the car brand spanking new, like it's come out of the factory. So let us know if you can justify the 42 lakh rupee restoration charge that the owner has paid. I know a lot of people won't be able to justify it, but if you can, let us know why and how, and I'll catch you in the next one.